Atma Namaste. I'm Evita Miriam, and I want to talk to you about the esoteric meaning of the COVID crisis. Everything that happens, and especially something so big that is happening to the entire world, to the entire earth, to all humanity, and to only humanity, because for animals it is amazing, right? Animals are very happy to be without so many humans around. So everything that is so big has a meaning, and the meaning comes from the hierarchy, the higher planes. The meaning of the COVID crisis, I have researched from the beginning, from its start, through esoteric arithmosophy, and I've found hundreds of calculations and readings and analysis that show exactly to the same, to the one thing. And since recently, my readings have been, and my calculations have been very, very positive and very hopeful for the future of humanity. And against all predictions that we hear around, that we're going to have division and this and that. We already have division, but it's going to go very, very well. And it's going to let each and every one of us bloom and find our true selves and flourish. So the esoteric meaning of this labor is that we are undergoing the labor of Gemini. You know, the entire humanity is undergoing one labor, the labor of Gemini, getting the apples, the golden apples of the Hesperides. Now, the meaning of that labor is that Hercules is the aspirant, is going to know himself. He has to know himself very well and take the golden apples of the Hesperides, which are the apples of wisdom, and give them to the world, give them back to the world, to everyone. So this shows how a person on the path of aspiration finds themselves and then is able to teach or to give that which he has learned, to offer it to humanity so that others may benefit. This labor has 5 tests. The first test is a test in which Hercules fails to listen to divine guidance from his higher soul. The second test is a test where he meets the serpent Antaeus, who is guarding the apples of Hesperides, and he's meeting the serpent and wrestles with the serpent and grabs the serpent and lifts it to the air, which means to the mind and to the crown, to intuition and higher thinking. And therefore, he wins. But then the serpent, what does the serpent mean? The serpent means the lower weaknesses and the lower energies that he has to overcome, the emotions, right? So the only way for us to battle our emotions, our negative emotions, whatever they are, or excessive emotions, are to think, to see an issue spherically very, very well. And after we see it very carefully, to make a decision and to exercise our mind and our discernment and a strong will, and then our emotions are under control. So he lifts it to the mind, and then he's able to win. But the serpent says to him, I will meet you again at the 8th gate. The 8th gate is a gate of the labor to Scorpio. So this is the other labor. Is incredibly that in all my readings, is appearing. So there are 3 labors. Mainly, it's the labor of Gemini with the apples of Hesperides, and then it is the Lernea Hydra, the serpent of Hydra, which is the Scorpio labor, and also a little bit of the cleansing of the Aegean stables, the cleansing of the astral, the cleansing of the emotions is part of this process. And I think it happened in September. So yes, it did happen. That was September. Every month has some details, but every month is marked by the overall labor of Gemini and as a purpose for this crisis, and the tests of the second test of Scorpio, which relates to Scorpio. And then the third test was that um, he had to leave the false teacher. The false teacher is false concepts, superstitious beliefs, perhaps oppressive, dogmatic groups, and institutions that are not allowing the students to think and following the true path of aspiration. And the fourth test was, and following also his own instinct and intuition, higher intuition rather, not instinct. So, and the fourth test was, as he was going to get the apples of Hesperides, he stopped by the cries of Prometheus, and he had to heal and release Prometheus. He had to heal Prometheus of the liver ailments that are mainly the ailments that we find in Scorpio. And the ailments of the liver are like hatred, anger, jealousy, envy, desire for powers, and such kind of excessive sexual desire, you know, all these vanity, these are the ailments of the liver. So he liberates Prometheus, which means the aspirant heals himself of these. And then he moves on to get the apples and find Anteus to the south. The south is the real reality in the real world, quote unquote real world in the Maya. So as he goes to find Anteus, he sees Atlas, who is the teacher, holding the world on his shoulders. And then he forgets all about himself, and he goes to help his teacher he goes to help Atlas hold the world. And then Atlas gets him the apples with the help of the three Hesperides. And that's the general labor. The meaning of the labor is that Hercules, and in this case, humanity, will undergo a process by which humanity will know itself, get the apples, overcome its weaknesses, heal itself, and enter the path of discipleship consciously and go toward harmlessness and the first initiation. That is the main esoteric purpose of COVID. So let me show you why. I mean, my evidence is here. The pandemic unites humanity has the same number, esoteric number. Of course, you know, I don't know if you know esoteric arithmosophy, but when each letter has a number, and then we add the letters values, and we get one number, which is not symmetrical usually. And then we reverse that number and add it to the original, and we get the esoteric number. And then we can see what has the same esoteric meaning. So the pandemic unites humanity, labor in Gemini, Canis major constellation, which is the major constellation of Gemini. The first initiation, which is again the COVID purpose. And then we have the crisis consolidation year of the 9-year cycle, this is a typo, of 2014, which is this year, actually, right? In the cycles as from the point of view of the hierarchy for United States of America is 8558. All right. So for 8558 is like the as above of the so below, which is the rest, right? That's how it works. So ascendant Gemini means the United States of America, according to Alice Bailey, has ascendant Gemini. And the ascendant shows our mission. So the United States of America has this labor. Not only the United States of America, the entire world, the entire earth. So let me briefly tell you about the cycles. The cycles are three types: crisis consolidation, tension expansion, and emergence impact on public consciousness. So something comes down from the spiritual hierarchy of light. In 1 year, we get the crisis consolidation, which means consolidation, energy becomes solidified. It comes down and we can experience it. The next year, there is tension and it expands. And the year after that, it emerges into public and has impact on public consciousness. And according to Alice Bailey, if we don't want to be disappointed or fail, we need to follow this natural rhythm of life, and we have to work accordingly. Like in the crisis consolidation is a year to start things, and the tension expansion is a year to slowly build things. And in the emergence of public consciousness, a year to go faster and show things. So we should not, be disappointed if things are not going the way we want them, because everything is going well when it is going according to the natural flow of things. So now, where we are now is that we are now, every year so has one of these three forces, all right? So, and there are 9-year cycles in which the spiritual hierarchy of light downloads the plan. And these 9-year cycles are composed of 3-year minor cycles. So one minor 3-year cycle is crisis consolidation, another 3 years are tension expansion, and another 3 years emergence impact on public consciousness. And now we are in a crisis consolidation 9-year cycle that will be followed by tension expansion 9-year cycle, right? And we are in the crisis consolidation 9-year cycle. In the last 3 years, in the emergence impact on public consciousness 3-year cycle. And in the first year of these 3 years, in the crisis consolidation year of the emergence impact on public consciousness. It would be nice if you looked, if you have diaries, in what happened in your life in 2014 from Wesak. The years are calculated from Wesak to Wesak, from May full moon to May full moon. So whatever happened from Wesak 2014 until Wesak 2015 was a major start of a major cycle, and it's going to unfold in your personal life for the 9 years after that. So, but now we can see that we are in the emergence impact of public consciousness cycle. So something is emerging in public consciousness. And this is the first year that this is happening. And the next year we'll have an expansion of that. And the year after that, everybody will know about it, right? So let's see this. The divine plan for humanity in 2020. Forget about the number 6666. It's not a bad number. It's just a number. Anyway, it's not 666, it's 6666. So deliver us from evil. This is what is going to happen. This is the divine plan in 2020, for us to be delivered from evil, for us to be, because the whole plan of acquiring greater awareness, of burning all our negative energies and purifying. That's a deliverance from evil for sure. And who knows what else will come. So COVID-free has the same number. Same numbers have the same meaning or are very closely related. COVID-free has the same number as Agni Yoga. It is interesting that when I did this calculation, the moment I found that it is the same as Agni Yoga, I got a message at that moment from someone suggesting to me to study Agni Yoga as a means for healing. And it was well, I listened to coincidence, right? Method of healing the coronavirus has the same number as soul ray. Soul ray, not soul. If Arithmosophy wanted to say soul, it would, but look here. Soul ray means your own proclivities, your own tendencies. It means that the method of healing coronavirus for each person is according to their own soul's ray, potencies, right? So this is the way of healing the coronavirus for you. Success in ending the coronavirus epidemic, inner healing. Okay, these are a few coincidences from hundreds. I'm just getting some that I found among the hundreds quickly, and that are more, most clear and not too complex. Oh, this is a bit more complex. Okay. All right. The exoteric manifestation of the divine plan, the exoteric, not the esoteric, in relation to the coronavirus has the same number as Siddhartha Gautama Buddha. And what is the Buddha? Is wisdom. The love, wisdom is the wisdom aspect, right? So it is in truth wisdom. It is the apples of the Hesperides are wisdom, are self-knowledge and wisdom. And also, the exoteric manifestation is Lord Jwal Kul, the Tibetan master, who relates to the great invocation. So this is another thing that is very, very important and that manifests in relation to the coronavirus. Many people are doing the great invocation. And through the great invocation, this is manifesting and is evolving faster, and spreading of pranic healing to the world. This is obvious to me. I don't know if it is to everyone, if it is, of course, people, not everyone knows pranic healing, but pranic healing has a protocol for the coronavirus and has very great results until now with COVID cases. So it's inevitable that pranic healing will spread, especially because it's long distance. We can do distance healing, right? So people can just sit at home and receive a wonderful, true, natural, beneficial, non-toxic healing of their energy bodies, and then their physical bodies will respond very, very quickly, and they will be healed. And of course, if they have COVID, perhaps it will take them a while, or some people perhaps will not heal from COVID. But most of our results are amazing. So, but things like hypertension, prostate, depression are very easy to heal for pranic healers, right? It's standard protocols. So I'm just saying this for those who are watching this and are not pranic healers. So the labor of the coronavirus epidemic, 9779, same as golden apple, and holy triangle, which relates also to the great invocation. So the labor in Scorpio, look at this now, it's amazing. The labor in Scorpio appears almost in every month, but I have some very clear indications of the labor here. Look, June 2020 has the same, calculated in Greek, has the same number as the Hydra constellation, which is the serpent of the Scorpio labor. June 2020, calculated in English, has Serpent's constellation, which is the serpent of illusion. July 2020 is Scorpio constellation. November is the month of Scorpio, and October is the month when Scorpio starts. And December 2020, Serpent's constellation, again, the serpent of illusion. We have to be careful with the serpent of illusion. So now here are the 9 heads of Hydra, that this is the major test that we're undergoing now. In 2020, we have to overcome all excess and in sex. Sex has to be, it's not about excess, no, it's about the way it is being done. So these are the 9 heads of Hydra: sex, comfort, money, fear, hatred, desire for power, pride, separativeness, cruelty. Sex has to be done in a loving and a way, and to be expressed with words and tenderness. Comfort has to not be excessive, because excessive comfort leads to laziness and to decadence. So it's up to each person's, some people are really Spartans, some people are really purists, some people just like to have a nice, seat that is comfortable, but they don't want to be pampered in every way. And we have to be careful with comfort. We don't want to. We want to be comfortable, but we have to be, careful with it. It can be really leading us to decadence, decay, and money. How we use money. Are we using? I mean, what is the point in having a lot of money and not using it? Who wants? I mean, do we want to pass away one day and leave money, a ton of money behind in our account? Why? This is not nice. I mean, even if we have children or grandchildren, don't we want them to be able to make a living, to be able to make money themselves? Yeah, you can leave them some money, you can leave them a house, you can leave them, but after a point, it is nice for people to learn how to be independent. So money has to be used to help others. Our teacher, Master Choa Sui, teaches us to tithe, to give to charity, 10% of all that we make. And we almost praniculars do that, follow that. 10% we give to charity, and after tax or after our debts. And then we save 20%, and because we always have to save for a rainy day, and then we use the rest, we spend it. Many pranic healers tithe, give to charity much more than 10%, but if you have a lot of money, you can do so many amazing things. You can help so many people. It's such an heart opener to help others, right? We all prefer to give. We love to receive, but to give and to see the other person be happy when we give, it's amazing. It's such a privilege, you know. And also fear. Fear is a vice. We should never fear. Fear is really a vice. Most things that we're afraid of will never happen anyway. I mean, almost all. There's no point in having fear. We're only attracting what we're afraid of. It's better to be fearless and to be trusting. Hatred, I don't need to tell you why hatred is wrong. And desire for power, right? Why? Power has to be power over our own selves, not over others. Now, pride and separativeness are cruelty, because if you separate others, if you are proud and you look down at others, then you're hurting them energetically. So these are the 9 heads of Hydra. This is what humanity, every one of us, will be tested in those 9 uh, aspects of life, those 9 vices. Not that money or sex or comfort are vices or good pride for what we've done, right? They're not vices. They are, but the way that they are used is what makes them good or bad. So that is this essence of the labor, the COVID crisis. COVID crisis is, according to the spiritual hierarchy, I believe that it is a plan to lead humanity into more unity, into more awareness, and into a more simple and wholesome life, and to guide humanity en masse into the first initiation. If there are some people that you cannot ever imagine changing and becoming like this, just try to imagine them changing, because they will. Everyone changes. I have changed a lot in this incarnation, and I hope I still have a lot to change, a lot to go. But you know, everyone can change. And surely there will be people who will not change and who will remain in the dark, in self-hatred and hatred for others and self-doubt. And they will not be all, they will be much more bad than good, because we all have some good and some bad. But humanity, a great number of people, a great part of humanity will undergo the first initiation because of what we're going through in COVID, and will know itself better. So knowing ourselves is truly the key to uh, initiation. Lord Joel says that only if we know ourselves thoroughly, and we know ourselves to such an extent that we will know which ray corresponds to each of our bodies, our energy bodies, um, the emotional body, the mental body, etc., then we will be able to be initiated. So, in the Apollo temple in Delphi, there are one of the three commands to man is know thyself. The other is all in moderation. And the other, the central one, which relates to the aspect of love, is above all the epsilon, the letter E, which relates to the family of Christ. So the all in moderation is about divine will, when we have the willpower to be moderate. And the central one is above all love, right? And is the love aspect. And the divine intelligence aspect is in the know thyself. Knowing ourselves removes our inner obstacles to our success and unclutters our mind and our lives of all unnecessary activities. And only when we know ourselves and our divine purpose very, very well, very clearly, when we know our mission, which, by the way, our mission, according to Lord Decay, lies in our ascendant's labor in Hercules mythology, in the labors of Hercules. So this is going to be my next session in December, on December. I will post this in the Mystery School of Arithmosophy on Facebook. And, we have to know ourselves. So don't despair and don't think that the COVID crisis is something that has come to ruin us. It has come to teach us and to help us unite and as one become humanity instead of individuals. So thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed it and you learned something from it. Atma Namaste. Hope to see you soon. Bye.